cost for a meal?
Yes.
It's difficult to say. Within a market space, I would think that you're probably, a main meal where you're saying lunch or a dinner, you're probably getting to around $12 to $15 tops. It's kind of 50-50. I think probably price point wise, $12, $13 is around about right. Given the labour cost of getting to it, getting to that meal in the first place, the producing of it, the before and after the actual meal is made, there's a lot of cost in that as well. So I think Australia in general, and Brisbane especially, is growing to a trend of a cheaper, ready to eat, looks good type meal, not a tablecloths and high service. Most popular? Look, I think you probably find that things like Eat Street, the markets, more events and festivals and food trucks are really taking over. I think people are now becoming more savvy with their money, and they're a lot more conscious of where they're spending it and how it's being spent. I know that Jamie's restaurant, Jamie's Italian, that's it. Jamie's Italian is very popular, more because I think, again, that story thing, that story behind it, it helps sell the meal. I mean, I think most people in the restaurant game at the moment are probably the best of their game because it's become so hard to make money that only those that know what they're doing have been able to stay. There's a few. Most of the ones that are involved in restaurants are doing other things. They might be doing some catering, or they do events and such. It's a healthy mix, I think. I think celebrities draw people's attention to food, and good food draws their attention to become more educated about it. I think some people get too far ahead of themselves, and we find that a lot, where people say, well, that only should cost this much because I make it at home, but a lot of different variables in it. But I think it's a great thing. The more food shows there are on television, the better it is for everyone in general, because it educates people to get more love and passion for their food, and then they go and buy food, and then they experiment, and that's pretty much what it's about, cooking. I think as soon as you walk in the door, if you don't feel welcome, it goes downhill from there. So you've got to make sure your staff are open, positive, understanding of what's going on around you. I won't be with you in a second, I won't be long, I'll be there in a second. So there's a fair few variables within that, but if they take an optimistic and positive outlook on it and a happy view, it's the fastest way to getting someone to stay at your restaurant. Here we have a whole variety of different things. I think we can go within the markets here, and on weekends we can go anywhere from Vietnam to Japan to South America to Germany, and right through Europe. So I don't think there's any one thing that really is defining anything at the moment. I think everyone's sort of taking a bit of everything.
Yesterday we conducted some interviews to the general public, and it showed that most people prefer to eat at restaurants which use local produce. With saying that, do Brisbane restaurants use local produce, and if so, how does this add to the food quality?
I think a lot of restaurants, and we find it here at the markets, a lot of people ask where they get this, and they intertwine with each other to find out who's giving what to where. Fresh local produce is the #1 seller for anyone. Yes, we've got even Noosa Red's tomatoes. At one stage, I think about a month ago, they couldn't come to the markets because their first is the supply of restaurants, the second is us, and then the third is anyone else outside of that, and they didn't have enough produce to go around. Social media is the biggest way that they promote these things these days. It's a mixed bag. We have a lot of tourism come through this market on a Wednesday. I think the Saturday markets and most of the markets are now written up in good travel guides, etc. So the good markets always get a good showing of tourism. A lot of locals like and enjoy the markets, and some of the traders around the outside of the market, like some of the shops surrounding this market, for instance, don't necessarily think that we are a good thing. They think we're taking business away from them. Some of the trends coming in through the market is a great way to sample your potential customers. So you can do a meal in a store and see if it's popular, tweak it so you get it right and it's just selling out all the time, and then if you went on to going to a proper restaurant, you then have a ready-made crowd, which is what your biggest task is when you first open a restaurant. I think we're quite healthy. I think because we have our regional suppliers and producers not far away, we have an opportunity to be able to introduce those new trends quickly. Because we have a saturation of markets at the moment in Brisbane, in and around Brisbane, I think we also have the ability to introduce those trends and those tastes and flavours quickly. But look, the thing that we have in Australia is we have a lot of people, especially Brisbane, we have a lot of people that are passionate about food and growing more passionate. So it can only be a good thing, and we're on the way up. I don't know if we're on par with London, but we're getting there. Again, I think it's getting there. I think we've got a ways to go with some of our culture and some of the way we're viewed upon, but I definitely think we've got the makings and the bones of really taking it in the next 10 years to something special.